Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Microsoft Azure. Turn your ideas into reality with an Azure free account. Get everything you need to develop apps across cloud and hybrid environments, scale workloads, create cloud-connected mobile experiences, and so much more. Discover what you can create with popular services free for 12 months. Learn more at azure.com. That's AZURE.com. And sign up for a free account to start building in the cloud today.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC on a Monday after Manchester United 0, Liverpool 3 at the Theatre of Leaky Roofs. The Reds went there and won for the 3rd time this season in 3 games, scoring 3, which was the most we'd scored so far this season, and conceding none, which is becoming a very nice habit. That's 3 clean sheets in a row to start the Arne Slot era. And it took us until match week 10 in the Premier League last season to get our 3rd clean sheet. So obviously there have been significant improvements at the back. There have been improvements in the attack. We're looking far more clinical. We're getting players into better positions. We're creating higher caliber chances. We went 1-0 up yesterday through Luis Diaz after a great assist from Mo. We go 2-0 up with Luis Diaz scoring again. And this one's a lot of his own work. He wins the ball off Casemiro, relocates, takes it in, gives it to Mo, relocates again. Mo gets it back to him. And it's a really nice finish to make it 2-0. And it was 2-0 at half-time. Now, it could have been 3. Trent had a goal disallowed because Mo was in an offside position in the build-up and did get a touch on the ball. So, unfortunately, it was the correct decision. But 2-0 at half-time, they had technically 2 shots on target, but one of them was their goalkeeper punting it and Alisson catching it. And the other one was a decent effort from Mazraoui that Alisson saved well. In the second half, they started out quite well, actually, for the first couple of minutes. And Xerxes drew a good save from Ali. But we scored very soon after that, with Alexis just winning the ball brilliantly in midfield, feeding Dom, and Dom fed Mo, who finished first time. Really, really good finish. Like, just exquisite from Salah. A goal and 2 assists. They should just give him the deed to Old Trafford at this point, because it's becoming embarrassing what he does to them there. In the 10 minutes after we scored our 3rd goal, we could have got 3 more. Mo missed a great chance blazing over the crossbar. Jota made a mess of a great chance. And Szoboszlai made a mess of a great chance. And it really should have been 5 or 6. And that would have been a fairer reflection on what had actually happened in the game. Once we didn't get that fourth goal, we just went into control mode and just went into seeing the game out and not overextending ourselves. And they did have a couple of opportunities. I mean, Alisson made a really good save from a close range Xerxes header. It's probably more a bad miss than a great save, but Ali did everything he could do and kept it out. And then Xerxes had another effort where it was a very difficult chance. Ball clipped in from Rashford, who was atrocious in the game, but did provide two great balls for Xerxes. But Xerxes was stretching, trying to feed it back across the goal, and it went out for nothing. So ultimately, that's all they really mustered. And yet, I see their fans, some of their players, their manager, try to make out that it was a close game. And I see people pointing at XG for the game and trying to make out that it was somehow a close game, but 3-0 flattered them. Like 5-1 probably would have been a fairer reflection on the 90 minutes. I saw some people trying to claim that they were good in the first half, but they weren't. We started really well, and then the game became really scrappy, and nobody seemed to be able to complete a pass in the middle of the park. We were a little bit loose with our passing. They were loose with their passing. And then we really settled into it. And from there, it was utter domination until Arne decided to have mercy on United and start making changes. I mean, the midfield were brilliant. First half is the best performance that Ryan Gravenberch has had maybe in his career. Like, he was absolutely outstanding. Playing box to box, freed from the number 6 role, playing advanced. Him and Szoboszlai and just their athleticism and their power and their energy and their speed. United couldn't cope with them. They were winning the ball back effortlessly. Just bullying United players, stepping into passing lanes, picking up passes that were loose and charging forward with them. All with purpose. That was the thing about Gravenberch yesterday. It was all with purpose. He was getting the ball. He was driving at them. And I criticised him in the Brentford game because his passing was pointless. Feeding the centre-backs, giving it to the full-backs, nothing through the middle. I think he had 2 progressive passes in the entire game out of 77 he attempted, 77 passes he attempted. Anybody can do that on the ball. But what he did yesterday is what makes him special. Playing that bit more advanced, receiving the ball in the spaces in United's midfield, turning on it, not in a position where if he gets tackled and loses the ball, we're immediately on the back foot. So he was able to play with more confidence, but turning on it and just driving at people, running past them, using that frame he has to just hold off people and find the right ball. That type of thing is really exciting. But that type of thing we haven't seen nearly enough from him in the 12 months he's been at the club. That's what we need to see more of. And a huge credit has to go to the other 2 in midfield as well. Dominic matched Gravenberch in terms of energy, aggression, forward thinking, forward thrust. And Alexis was just, I thought, sensational in the game. Very, very understated, but he played at the base of the midfield. And it was notable very early that Arne had switched from a 2 and a 1 with Gravenberch as the 6 and Alexis that bit further forward. So Gravenberch is the first receiver, Alexis is the second receiver. He'd switched that. And it was more of a 1 than a 2 with Alexis and then the other 2 more advanced. And it suited them really, really well, and the balance was ideal. Now, it is going to be game specific because United's midfield invites that sort of setup because there's no structure to it and there's space everywhere. But it was really, really clever from Arne to know that was an issue for them. So he puts Alexis between our defence and their midfield, or their strikers and their midfield, and then he puts Gravenberch sort of in between their midfield and Dom just beyond their midfield. And we were able to weave it through them really, really easily because the players are making good decisions and playing well. But that type of midfield performance is exactly what you're looking for against a team like United, who they want to break up play and counter you immediately. Like, they don't have anybody in their team that's a really creative passer. So what they need to do is get it to their pace and go. And players like Mainu are good at being aggressive and front-footed and winning the ball back. And Arne knew that. And he knew that if Gravenberch was deepest, Mainu would play right up against him and try and nick it off him as the ball came into him or as he tried to turn. Mainu's really good in that regard. That was their game plan. Mainu up against Gravenberch, stop him from turning, force him backwards, and if he does try and turn, nick it off him, and now you're away. And now we're going to have numbers. Because if he's the deepest midfielder and they've sent the fullbacks forward, we could get a 4 or 5 on 2 attack here. Because we'll have Mainu, we'll have Bruno, we'll have both wingers, and we'll have our 9. So that's what they were planning on. And Arne just blew their game plan up by altering the midfield before kickoff. Alexis deeper, Gravenberch further forward. So now Mainu's playing high up on the left side of their double pivot against nobody. And we're able to pass out really easily through Alexis, or just from Virgil, or just giving it to Trent and letting him play from right back. And Mainu's caught in no man's land. And he's not effective. But if we get the ball to Gravenberch, now the space that Mainu has left because he's been told to leave it and told to go and play that bit higher when we're moving out from the back, Gravenberch is in massive amounts of space now, able to receive the ball, knowing he's got 2-3 yards each side, so he can turn, he can get going. And it worked a treat. And it took 37 minutes. 37 minutes for Erik ten Hag to realise Liverpool are not doing what I thought they were going to do and make a change to his midfield. Arne knew before the game what United were going to do. He knew before kickoff what they were going to do. Ten Hag watched it unfold, and it took 37 minutes for him to react and make a change in midfield and shift players around. So if anybody ever tries to tell you that Arne Slot and Erik ten Hag are anything alike, just point them towards that first half. The midfield 3 were brilliant. Mo was brilliant. Ibu was brilliant. Virgil was brilliant. Robbo and Trent were good. Diaz was very good, got himself 2 goals. Ali was very good. Jota's the only one that had a little bit of a, I wouldn't even say poor or anything like that. I thought he was fine, but he's the only one that didn't have like a really good game. And if that's how it's going to be for us, we're going to win an awful lot of football matches. If we have, say, 8 lads playing at a very high level, 2 playing at a good level, and 1 playing at, yeah, he's grand. I mean, that's what we did from 2018 to 2020. That's kind of what the balance was. And it worked brilliantly. Now, this team is not that team, but it does have a ceiling to be close to it. Like, you've got some players in this team that are better than players that were in that team. But you've also got players that were in that team who are no longer the same versions of themselves. Most notably Robertson. He's had the biggest decline. But Virgil's not quite where he was. Mo's becoming a different player. And potentially can become an even better all-rounder than he was back then. Even if he's not as explosive. He's more creative now. He's more clinical now. And his understanding of the game is significantly better. Now, we don't have a 9 as good as Bobby, but Jota's really good. Darwin on his day is really good. They're both explosive. They're both bigger goal threats than Bobby. So there is a chance we can do some impressive things this season. We do need to ensure that when January comes around that we're ready to go and get what's needed. We do need to ensure that that takes place. If we want to sustain across a full season and not fall short again, that's what needs to happen. We need to go in January and be aggressive and get what we need done early, get them in under Arne, and give him the opportunity to have a go at the big pots, to have a real go at them. It's very clear that that's what he's driven to do, is to win the big trophies. I thought every time he speaks, it's just really impressive. Like, he's very blunt, he's very matter of fact, but you can tell he's ruthless and you can tell he's a real winner. And with respect to Jurgen, who is a great, great manager, Arne seems to have more of a laser focus on winning the trophies. Whereas by Jurgen's own admission, he was about collecting relationships and the trophies kind of came along with that. I don't think Arne cares about the relationships. I think he cares about winning. He takes Trent off again yesterday. That's a power play from him. That's very much, I took you off last week. You had a strop. I'm taking you off again. I'm the manager. You're going to do what you're told. You're going to react accordingly. You're going to react appropriately. You're going to prove to me that you deserve to be the vice captain of this club. That was great. Then he goes on with Keane and the rest, and he basically breaks down United's tactical plan, not only to show that he'd figured it out, but also to give every other team in the league a blueprint on how to beat them. And you could see it with Roy Keane, who, to his credit, was a decent manager, did well at Sunderland, did okay with Ipswich. Keane's a decent manager, but he was a great, great player. And when Arne was explaining his thought process, Keane was looking at him in awe. Like, oh, wow. Like, you think about this game at a very deep level, and you have an innate understanding of what you are seeing on the pitch. And that's Roy Keane showing reverence. Roy Keane doesn't show reverence to anybody, but he did to Arne Slot yesterday.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. Ha. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes, and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
And then what I really liked was when he said that Alisson is ideally only there to help in the build-up, not to save shots. He was livid that Alisson had to do actual goalkeeping work. Livid. The standards he's setting are going to be so high. Like, he is looking for perfection. He's not just looking for it's good enough. He's looking for perfection, which is very, very promising. And also suggests that while he has been let down in the transfer market in this window, it's unlikely he'll continue to accept that, which puts pressure on Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards, which is good. Puts pressure on the owners, which is good. Another thing that will put pressure on Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards and the owner was what Mo had to say. So Mo was interviewed and said, this is my last season at the club and I'm trying to enjoy it. Then he corrected himself and said, it's the last season of my contract. I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody from the club has spoken to me yet. Now, the key factor here is nobody from the club has spoken to me yet. But the club wouldn't speak to him as the first port of call. They'd speak to his agent, find out his level of interest. I would believe they had a conversation very briefly with Mo at the end of last season to find out his interest levels in staying. And I have to believe Mo wants to stay. He looks happier than he has in years. He's playing out of his mind. There's no way he wants to go to Saudi Arabia. Not at this stage in his career. Not with this much still in the tank. That's where he can go when he's 37 and broken down, like Cristiano. Like that money from the Saudis is not going anywhere. It'll still be there for him. Cristiano, if I'm not mistaken, was about 37 when he went to Saudi Arabia. Now, he is unquestionably a bigger name in football than Mo, a bigger star in football than Mo. But he's not a bigger star in the Arab world. He's not a bigger name in the Muslim community. So Mo is every bit as attractive, if not more, to that league as Cristiano, who joined just before his 38th birthday. Now, Mo turned 32 in the summer. Mo could play another 5-6 years with us and still be Cristiano's age going over there. And that money will be there then. And like the guy is not slowing down. He's just not slowing down. The numbers he continues to put up year on year, considering, of course, he is a one-season wonder, they're just staggering. And I've said this before, and people don't agree with me, but I genuinely think he could break Ian Rush's record. I genuinely believe that. We're looking at him with 214 goals for the club. Now, that's in 7 seasons and 3 matches. So basically, he's averaging across his career with us 30 a season. Now, obviously, that's a little bit skewed because he did have that one season where he scored 44. But even outside of that, like, it's not like he's having a 40-goal season, then a 20-goal season, a 35-goal season, then a 15-goal season. Mo is 27, 23, 31, 31, 30. He was easily going to break 30 last year and he got injured. He's on track this season to put up wild numbers. No AFCON this season either, which is a massive factor. But like Ian Rush, obviously the greatest goal scorer in club history, or is he? In terms of goals per game, Mo is right there now. Mo's beyond Rush at this point in terms of goals per game. So Ian Rush for Liverpool, 346? Yeah, 346. So he's 132 goals ahead of Mo. That's 4 seasons. This season and 3 more at 31 a season. No, that's not right. At 35 a season, say. 34-ish a season. Even let's say he gets 30 a season. For this season and 3 more. He's 36 years old at that point. And that's factoring in that he could have one season where he goes way above and one season where he's well below. But then he'd be 36. And he'd be within a handful of goals of Rush. A handful. Does anyone actually watch Mo and think he's going to fall off a cliff in the next few years? Because I don't. And I still see a world where he could play as a 9 or play in a front 2 and maintain the numbers, even if maybe some of the off-ball stuff drops off. But you look at what he's done since joining the club, and it is just like it's otherworldly how good he's been. Season 1, 44 and 15, 17-18. Ludicrous. Season 2 was 18-19, 27 and 10. Season 3, 19-20, we win the league. This is his worst goal-scoring season for us, and he gets 23 goals. But he has 13 assists. 2021 was a disaster for us because of injuries, and this fella single-handedly dragged us into the top 4. He scores 31. He only gets 6 assists that year. So that's the one season the creativity dropped off. Then you look at 21-22, we chased the quadruple. Mo was ridiculous for so much of that season, 31 and 15. 31 and 15. That's career numbers for some players. This guy's cutting it up in a season. 22-23 were garbage. But he's brilliant. 30 and 16. 30 and 16. It's ridiculous. And then last year, obviously, he has the injury at AFCON. He comes back, he plays, he gets hurt again. He doesn't play well to the end of the season, but he still ended the year with 25 and 14. Like, there's records to be broken for this fella. He's on 160 Premier League goals. 158 for us, 2 for Chelsea. He's 100 now behind Shearer. The only active player above him is Harry Kane, who doesn't play in the league anymore. Now, he might come back. I think he will come back and try and break Shearer's record. But even with him coming back and breaking that record and say Mo falling short of Shearer, he could still be a top 3 goal scorer in Premier League history. And he's a winger. He's not a 9. The only person above him who's not a 9 is Lampard, who Mo will catch if he's at the club next season. He might even catch him this season. Like, he genuinely can catch him this season. Like, there's historic landmarks here for Mo that will mean more to him and his legacy than going to Saudi Arabia. Because again, the Saudi thing will always be there for him if he wants it. There's no guarantee he does want it, though. Like, historically, Egyptians aren't overly thrilled about Saudi Arabia and its behaviours, shall we say. So there's no guarantee he'd even want to go there. But he's certainly not going to want to go into semi-retirement. I don't see him wanting to go to France, play for PSG. Don't see him wanting to do that. And where else could he go? Like, to be fair, it's Mo Salah on a free, go anywhere. But, like, he's not going to go to City. He's not going to go to another English club. Simple as that. Could he go to Italy? Maybe. He won't earn a fraction of the money he earns with us if he goes there. And where would he go? I don't see him going back to Roma. Definitely not going to go back to Fiorentina. Could go to one of the Milan clubs, but both of them have significant financial uncertainties, especially Inter. He could go to Juventus, but does he want to go to Juventus? Would he enjoy that? I'm not sure he would. He could go to Bayern. You know, if he fancied that, he could go to Bayern. They would pay him a big salary without question. It would be a lot of easy trophies for him. Although with Harry Kane there, maybe that cancels out the easy trophies. Kane doesn't like to win trophies. And then you look at La Liga, there's really only three options. He's not going to go to Atletico Madrid because Mo under Simeone, at this point, I don't see it. A few years ago, could have seen it quite easily in the Griezmann role, but don't see it now. I just don't see Real having the need for him. And does he want to really play with Mbappe, where he'll be second fiddle, maybe third fiddle because Vinny's there? I don't see it. So Barcelona, they could probably find a way to pay the wages because Lewandowski's deal will come off their books and they could probably sell Frankie de Jong, but they're miles away from winning anything. Even if you put Mo into that team, they're not winning anything. And they also have Lamine Yamal, who plays Mo's position. Now, Mo could go there and be the 9, and he'd get a lot of opportunities. But they're not winning anything. Be a great lifestyle, but you're not winning anything. The guy seems driven by winning. I took his statements yesterday to say to the owners, put an offer in front of me and I will sign it. That's what I took from it. Was him saying to the club, I want to be here, put an offer in front of me. It's the same thing I've taken from what Virgil has said. And we've had Alisson say it in recent weeks as well, that he would like to sign a new contract and stay at the club. Get them all signed up. The one who concerns me the most of the three is actually Trent. And I do wonder if the club want to get the Trent deal done first, to kind of set themselves a landmark in terms of wages for the other two. I also think they would view Trent as a more obvious flight risk because everybody knows Real Madrid would love to have him. Now, I think Real Madrid would love to have Virgil. And I think if Virgil becomes a free agent, it wouldn't at all surprise me if Real Madrid were like, oh, we'll take you. Here's 3 years. Here's 400 or 500 grand a week. You come to Madrid when you have a couple more Champions Leagues, a couple of La Liga titles. We have a needed centre-back. We'll take you. He walks into any team in the world. He's still the best on the planet by a mile. So I could see Real wanting him, but they actively want Trent. And I also think when Trent signs his deal, that will sort of set a marker for Virgil and Mo in terms of what we'd be willing to pay. But I think they want the Trent deal done first. So I think if we gave Virgil 400 grand, just as a figure to throw out, we won't. It'll be like 300 grand. If we give Virgil 300 grand, there's a chance Trent walks in and asks for 275, 280, 300. Well, I'm the vice captain. I'm going to be the next captain. I'm in my prime. I want more money. But if we get him done at like 250 and then we get Virgil at 300, I think that's fine. And then I think Mo is probably in and around what he's on already. But I think it's probably more to do with years for Virgil and Mo. That's what I think the hold-up would be on his years. Because I don't think they'd have any problem giving them each 2-year extensions. But I get the feeling both would like 3 or maybe even 4. And frankly, they both deserve whatever they want for what they've done for this club. They're 2 of the best players we've ever had. They're 2 of the best players the league has ever seen. They might well be the two best players in the league since they came into it. It's certainly those two in KDB. That's the top three for the last 6-7 years. That's the three. And nobody else comes close. You can put them in whatever order you want. You can have Virgil 1, Mo 2, KDB 3. You can have KDB 1. You can have Mo 1. You can do whatever way you want. But that's the top three and no one else is close. And the difference between them is that Mo and Virgil don't have the injury problems that KDB has. And they look like they're still in their primes with years ahead of them. Like we just saw Thiago Silva play until this past summer in the Premier League at the age of 39. Never in his life was he as good as Mo. Never in his life. Or as good as Virgil, rather. Never. Even at his very peak, he was nowhere close to Virgil. Even Virgil now, let alone Virgil pre-ACL. And Mo, like, there's just no comparison to be made with him. At least with Virgil, you can sort of look at McGrath, Campbell, Stam, and say, well, there's at least competitors for best centre-back in the history of the league. There's nobody you can look at with Mo. Nobody. It was Cristiano, but he left his legacy behind years ago. Mo sprinted past him. And as long as they want to be here, they should be here. And we should be delighted to have them. And if Richard Hughes doesn't get those deals done, then I think we should storm the AXA and shave his head. Yeah, shave his head. Stick it all onto him as a beard. Not promoting violence in any way, of course. You can check out This is Anfield, Anfield Watch, Liverpool.com, and Dave OC Cop when you get a chance. But on AnfieldIndex.com, there is a piece about Arne Slot. There is a piece about Mo, a piece about Gravenberch, a piece about Arne and how clinical and dominant we are, a piece about Robertson and his views on the game. Podcast-wise, there is the post-match press conference. There is post-match Raw. And then there is the weekend roundup, which is Nina and Ben talking about the other Game Week 3 matches. Today, there is the David Lynch podcast, and also there is the Media Matters with Dave Davis and David Lynch. So check all of those out. There's a ton of stuff coming this week. We'll try and keep you as busy as possible over the international break. Harry has a couple of really good ones to come as well. There's a transfer show. There's a Pro Plus Big Decisions with Dave Davis, and there's a Red Alert coming this week as well. There'll be a couple of scouteds. And I think that's about it, but they'll be spaced out. So there'll be probably 2 a day, and you'll have this as well. So I will see you all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.